folks, this is Mickey G. We know that no one's perfect, but when you're trusting someone else to make life decisions, you wish there was a perfect person. And what do you think about reparations as a payback for slavery? Well, Rodney and I break it all down for you in this edition of Old Fools Talking Old School. It's funny you say that. A number of years ago, and I can't even remember, it's probably been 30 years ago, we financed one of our cars. And, back in that day, they used to send you a, what do you call it? Not a no claim title, but it was basically a title that shows that you got the car.
Right, yeah.
But it's not the one you can't use it to sell the car or anything.
Right.
It's just, I've got what they call it, some kind of title.
Yeah, I know
what
you're talking about.
The, whoever, I know, I'm sure it was with a credit union, they messed up and sent us the original title. And we got the original title in the mail. And I said, man, look, this is the original title of that car. I said, the right thing to do, of course, was to send it back. So I called them and said, y'all send us the real title. Oh, we did. Could you please send it? But, in theory, we could have kept the title.
Yes, sir.
And not paid another dime on that car. And when they said, well, you defaulted on your loan, I said, I don't care. I got a title to the car.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't care about the loan now. I got a title to my car. But we sent it back, of course, and sent it back to them. But yeah, I mean, sometimes people mess up.
Yeah, they do.
They make mistakes. As I say, we all are human. But yeah, they actually sent us the original title to that car.
Yeah, man. I was like, see, that's what when I be up in the middle of the night, I be thinking about.
You ain't the only one. I got of stuff pass through my mind, and I even thought when he sent us all these 107 pages, I'm like, damn, I wish I knew somebody that was a lawyer I could send this to and say, is there anything in here that's wrong or just, but I don't know a lawyer like that. And I'm sure if I called anybody else up, they want to charge you to do it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at some point you just got to say, look, if
he
does something illegal, you
got to trust somebody.
We just got to go. So yeah, I think about that kind of stuff too. And
yeah, man, I think about all kind of stuff. I was even thinking about how this dude to build a house, he's like, hey, I got a guy at the Bank of Oklahoma. He can, if we could go through him, if you don't mind, and we'll make sure the loan gonna go through. I said, well, I have no doubt the loan is gonna go through. I said, but all right, if this is a guy you trust, and so the dude met us out at his office, and I was like, okay, so I went ahead and signed the paperwork. Then I started thinking, I said, well, why didn't we go into his office? And I'm just wondering, I'm like, I done paid, I'll pay off this house, and then they'll come talking about it belonged to somebody else. I said, boy, I'll kill up around.
Yeah.
I'm always second guessing and always thinking, what if, suppose it don't help since I watched that American Greed and all that other stuff, these folks getting duped and stuff, because people will do that. And,
yeah, that's one thing that that second seminar we went to, the guy was saying that he had a client come in with their trust, and he was looking over it, and there was some issue. Oh, I know what it was. They had obtained some assets after they had done the trust, and whoever the lawyer was, they never went back and got that stuff in the trust. So the guy said basically they had a 2-pound paperweight because it didn't do them any good. And they said, that's why whenever you have a trust, you have to be mindful yourself if there's assets that you come into after the trust is done, because your lawyer ain't gonna know if you won the lottery, that kind of thing. So he said, you got to remember, you just can't get the trust and put it on a bookshelf somewhere and say, I'm good to go. If things change, if you buy another house, if you sell your house, if you get a car that's worth quite a bit of money, whatever, you've got to make sure that stuff gets in the trust, because you can't walk in, or your heirs can't walk into court one day or something say, look, I got a trust and they say, well, that ain't in the trust. So that you got to go to probate now,
Right.
So he said, just be mindful of that too. It doesn't end just because you get a trust done. You got to be mindful of stuff that might happen after that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why we decided on the vehicles, because it's unless you got a classic something or something that's worth a whole bunch of money,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a depreciating asset. So
Mm-hmm.
I ain't gonna worry about putting that in there. As I told the boys when we had our little meeting there, I said, like everything else, it's 50-50 between y'all, whatever. But I expect you guys to be mature about it and either sell it, keep it, or whatever you're gonna do, and do it amicably. Because I said I'll come back here and hunt both of y'all ass. you know. And so everything else in the trust is set up that way. And of course, and I was glad to hear it, but like I told Rosin, like when we did our first will, I said, people are at different places at different times financially, and that could bring up some stuff. She go, "Oh, our
Mm-hmm.
boys wouldn't do that." I said, "No, I'm not gonna say that.
Mm-hmm.
I would think that they wouldn't. I would hope that they wouldn't, but I'm not gonna say that. So we need to specify." And so when I was talking to them, they said, "No, Dad, you ain't got to worry about nothing that. We know. Well, you explained stuff to us, but I've told them what I want." I said, The last thing I want is for y'all to be out here fighting over some damn money." I said, "That
Mm-hmm.
means that you done sit on your ass and not done nothing." I said, you consider this as going to be something that you can add to what you've done." And so like, "No, you ain't got to worry about nothing, Dad, about that." I'm like, "Okay." At that point, though, as far as cars are concerned, I ain't really that concerned about it. Like I said, I ain't got no classics or no inventory of cars. So,
Right. Right.
I like, y'all do what you want. The best thing you can do is sell them, and put that. But you do what you're gonna do. Like I told him, I said, me and your mom are set up, and we tried to analyze and try to make this thing as a smooth transition for you as we can. But like anything else, you're gonna have to do some work, because once we're gone, laws change, things change. You got to be able to make a decision.
Yep. Yep. And we did the same thing. I mean, we hadn't talked to the girls about it yet because we haven't finished it yet. But we try to do that. Try to make it so that if there is any issues, it ain't between sister and sister. It's
Right.
between sister and mom and dad because we made these decisions.
That's right.
And like I say, we did have some concerns about finances and things because of history with our daughters. So we took all that into consideration in trying to spell out the things that we wanted to be done because of one reason, but it was because of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we try to do the same thing to where if it comes down to there is some angst at that
Mhm.
point, you can't point a finger at one another and say, well, you did this, and no, they didn't do nothing. We did this,
That's right.
and it's our money to do with what we wanted to do. So don't
Exactly.
so that doesn't hopefully will ever be a problem. But yeah, that was one reason we tried to go with the trust too, is to put those parameters on things because I know it can happen. I know a friend of mine that just passed away, and I'm 99% certain he didn't have a whole lot to start with, but what little they already fighting over,
Right.
you know. And I'm like, no, if we can avoid stuff like that, I said, we'll do our best to try to avoid anything like, even though I don't think that, like you said, like your fella said, I don't think that'd be a problem, but just in case,
Yeah.
we're going to take care of that now.
That's right. you know, you're certainly right, because a lot of those people that had problems probably thought the same thing. Oh, they would. They'll be all right. We ain't
Yeah,
gonna do that.
yeah,
And like I say, at any given point, any given different beneficiary could be in a dire strait that want to look out for their situation. And we're gonna take that out of your hands. You ain't got to
yeah,
worry about it.
yep. Saying that was our exact same process.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But it really gives a good peace of mind, man. I, I guess I'm a constant worrier because I never stop worrying. I'm like, what else have I not done? You know, to make this a smooth transition. Just like I told them, I said, whatever little we got, I want it to remain in a Turner's name, and that's contingent on y'all or
Yeah.
your legacy, because we got, anything past them is their offspring, and since we ain't got none, we couldn't name none, so we said their offspring, and so it's
But it's funny you say that. I was on an interview we did last Saturday. It was actually supposed to be in conjunction with Juneteenth, and the guy he thought he thought the Juneteenth celebration was actually going to be Juneteenth, and everybody was doing it the Saturday before.
right.
So he said, he said, I screwed up. Would y'all mind coming in and doing an interview? He has a NPR show. So me and a couple of other guys from the museum went and talked to him. And one of the issues he brought up was reparations.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, what do y'all think about, reparations and, the government, paying, African Americans a certain amount of money and that kind of thing. I said, well, I think it's like a lot of other things. How do you determine how much everyone gets? Is it a blank amount? If you're African American and can prove it kind of thing, you get $5. Is it if certain age you get more? If you've done better, you get less because you've done better. I mean, how are you going to figure all that kind of things out? And I said, another issue I have with a monetary payment is, I said, a lot of African Americans, just like a lot of Americans, period, haven't done well with generational wealth. And there's statistics out there that says a lot of the Generation Xers and the millennials and all those have less than $2,000 saved. I said, so to me that sort of shows that some people haven't done well with money.
Right.
And I could see a scenario where you give out monetary benefits. A number of those people will, in a matter of a month, all that money's gone, and then they're back on the social services system about, well, I ain't got no money. You need to take care of me again now, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I said I would rather that maybe some other type of options that we could maybe look at. And he said, well, I can understand that, but I just think about most African Americans sort of got off to uh, an unfair start in life when it comes to money and economics and things like that. And I wholeheartedly agree. I said, but we're talking about now going on what 120 years, no, 1865, 1965, when the mass place proclamation. So we're talking about 100 and almost 50 years since the Emancipation Proclamation and the 13th Amendment. We're not, no, we're not talking 10 years ago kind of thing. I would hope that we would have been in a little bit better place. Wholeheartedly agree that African Americans, for the most part, started at a disadvantage. But I think, we can't sort of rely on that to justify why maybe we haven't gotten in a better place than we are now. So that's my, I said that. So that's my concern about monetary reparation. Is it going to help us make that leap ahead? I just don't think so for a lot of people. But
No, it
uh,
ain't.
but
Mm-hmm.
oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, bro.
No, and I was just saying, just the way you said, you say you always you sort of worry about, am I doing the right things and things of that nature. To me, the fact that you're worried about that tells me you've done the right thing. Because if you weren't worried about what's going to be left behind, that's probably because you ain't got a whole lot to leave behind.
Yeah.
So you ain't got to worry about it. So I look at it. Yeah. I know we don't like to worry about those kind of things and stuff like that. But the fact that you're in a position to where you do worry about it tells me you've done the right thing.
Yeah, I agree with that. And plus, too, one of the things when I really, you carry around with what you got in your head, but until you really sit down and put pen to paper, after I put pen to paper, I'm like, well, I'm worth more than what I thought I was. I'm like, oh, okay. We need to do something. But on the reparation thing, man, I was reading an article again, and they were talking about reparations, and what it was part of it was about also too. The author was saying it wouldn't help the United States government to do reparations. It's not going to benefit the United States to do reparations. Well, first off, it ain't about the United States benefiting from it. It's about the people who suffered.
Suffered, yes.
And then my thing is, I don't think that they should give individual compensation for reparations, simply because it would benefit the government, because spend that money up so fast it go right back to them. and even if they gave 40 acres and a mule, they'd be sold right back to them. So actually it would be. And then the government can say, well, no, we gave you reparations.
Yeah.
We ain't got to take care of your ass now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm totally against giving especially individuals who ain't suffered other than lazy and apathy. Those have gotten out there and tried and had that systemic racism put against them deserve some compensation. But I still say I would rather see whatever monetary value that they put it upon. I would rather see banking institutions placed strategically throughout the United States that will give Black people a fair chance to bank in whatever way they want to, invest, buy a home. You don't have to worry about all that other stuff, because the people who are going to do that are the people that's going to do something with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
As opposed to all these folks out here looking just like the average person. They want something for nothing. You ain't suffered what our ancestors suffered, number one. Number two, you ain't done nothing to try to better yourself. You just sitting on the door waiting for somebody to give you something. No.
For a handout.
Yeah. You sit your ass on over there and get nothing. But if you are upwardly bound and you trying to do something, or you want to start a business, or anything that contributes to this society that we live in, that can give you an opportunity to better your life, small business loan or something, something along that nature, but something to better yourself and get, like you said, get some wealth that's gonna last, or something you can pass down. I'm all for that. But giving individuals money, hell no.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said too when I was talking in that interview. And you brought up a point that I hadn't really thought about. What if you gave the option? And I'm just sort of throwing out sort of a make believe situation. You can get $1,000, or you can get a mortgage at 1% interest, or you can get a small business loan at 1% interest or something like that. I mean, I think, yeah, there's going to be people who's going to take the money. There's going to be plenty of them that's going to take the money.
Yeah.
But I think the people who really are interested in trying to make a better life and a better future for them would probably jump on, especially in our country where all you hear about is, there's no affordable housing and things of that nature, and interest rates have gone. There's going to be those people who will say, take that $1,000, give me that 1% mortgage. Now I can afford to buy a house that's gonna appreciate in most situations throughout our whole life. It'll allow me to at some point
my status,
improve my situation. That would be something that I would think I would be more for. Would be, maybe not take the money totally away, but say, look, you got an option here. Yeah, because people are in different kind of situations.
That's right.
What about a very low interest home loan? How about a very low interest business loan or whatever? And then you don't take a lump sum money or whatever that may be. I would love something like that, because to me, that's how you start to build that sort of wealth and generational wealth. You can now go buy you a home. You can stay in that home, have it appreciate. If you get in a better situation, 10, 15 years from now, maybe move up to a nicer home, sell that one, take the money you made from that and invest it. So yeah, that to me gives you more options,
Yes, sir.
more future options of sort of investing your wealth and things of that nature. And like you say, the people who truly suffered because of slavery have been gone for generations.
That's right.
We're their offsprings. I realize that, but for the most part, none of us suffered nowhere near
That's
the
right.
the issues that those folks uh, uh, had to suffer. So yeah, yeah, something like that. I could see something like that because I just know that you give them a lump sum, just like, when they were giving out the rebates and, for taxes and stuff,
Hmm.
people was going through that money. I mean, the guy told me at the car dealership, he said, "Oh no, this is tax season. They getting them checks in. They coming in here left and right." I said, "Yeah, yeah, that's unfortunate because, like you say, they haven't had a good education on how to manage money and things. But you're gonna throw money at them."
Hmm.
Expect them to sort of do the right things. No, give some more give other options that they could take
That's right.
that hopefully, build their wealth. And I tell you right now, in most situations, I would say, yeah, especially if I'm a young married couple, give me that low interest mortgage. Let me be able to buy my house, and
That's right.
go and live in a nice house and gain something versus, taking that money and putting it on, you know, whatever, dope, alcohol, even maybe a car that we all know are depreciating assets
Yep.
and be able to do that. So I just thought about that when you were saying that. I like no, I almost expected. I'm almost sound like he expected me to say, "Oh yeah, we need to get some money. We need to get some money from
Yeah,
the government. The government
because that's
told
what
us."
that's what most of us
Yeah,
say.
yeah. I think that what he was expecting me to say, and when I didn't, he was, well, we sort of started off at it wasn't an even start. I said, I understand that, but we're talking, over 100 years ago now. I think we've had an opportunity to hopefully overcome some of those obstacles, and we still haven't done that. So that's my concern about a monetary reparation. So uh,
Yeah,
anyway, funny.
I'm totally against that. It's even so far as and these people do what they want to do with their money because they've earned it. But I look at a lot of these. It's unfortunate that we have to look at athletes because that's where most of our population that's making any kind of grand theft money is.
Right.
But I'd rather see those guys. They want to give back. They're playing into the system that old boy has set up by doing these foundations. I'm like, to hell with the foundations. Let's get a political wing funded by these guys. If each one of them and the rest of the population too, they think because these guys make money, they just, everybody needs to participate in that and getting some political wing to look out for our interest and get us a piece of the pie
Hmm.
instead of, you know, these brothers doing, some people are doing things, you got individuals doing things, but look at any other group in this country, what they're doing. They've come together and form a coalition for their interests and get things done. I remember this dude on a radio station here, and I called in and I just said, man, they were mad because, well, they were talking about how Obama had signed something for a Jewish uh, group. All right, look, he signing that for them again. That naivety, like, cause you the president. I'm like,
Hmm.
ignorant bastard. That's one of the things y'all need to learn the system that you're trying to survive in. But and I called in. I said that's ridiculous. I said first off, you think cause you voted for a man, you send one man up there to fight this whole damn system by himself, and you just sitting back to wait to reap the benefits. I said that's totally stupid. I said the Jewish people and the gay people get things their way because they back each other, they fund it, they support, they do all that. Black people sit on their ass and think because they voted for somebody that he's supposed to go do it all by himself. I said, that's ridiculous. I voted for him. Well, that took a lot of effort, didn't it? It just bugs the hell out of me, man. I'd rather see us. What was that? I saw something where they said black people spend more spend the most money on, I forget what it was some kind of car. So we got more black people that own this kind of car than anybody in the United States. It was a high-end car. I'm like, now just think if you put some of that money towards a political block or something instead of, I'm totally against, I ain't gonna say I'm against it, but all these NAACP groups that are separate, everybody's trying to be Martin Luther King. Something happens. Oh, we hate that and we do that, but there ain't no clout behind it. You just saying, oh, I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets nowhere. Just like, unfortunately for these young black men, they get killed by these cops for no reason. Yeah, we get on there, we sing about it, we hate it and all that, but ain't nothing ever done about it because we ain't got no clout. They mad at Biden because he was trying to do police reform. Well, haven't you noticed that he's tried to do it and the Republicans has repealed that? They sent that other over there, Tim Scott, they sent him over there to just be totally against everything that they tried to do. But you're going to blame Biden for not getting police reform. Well, if you had some clout, you had a political active group espousing what we want, maybe something could get done. But as long as they keep us doing stuff, trying to do stuff, and it's admirable for those people that have that kind of clout to do that, but you can't do it by yourself.
And it bothers me when I hear people say, hey, you go to all these nail salons, all's in there, people from Asia and Korea and those kind of places. And I'm thinking, did you ever step back and wonder why?
Yeah, exactly.
You had to say we had the same opportunity as they had.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But they work together. They bring family in. They set them up in their own businesses and things. They'll say the same thing. Everywhere you look, there's a Mexican restaurant. Guess what? They don't exist because they just set them up. People go to them.
Yep.
And they bring family members in it. I said, why are you complaining about those kind of people? Because they're doing good things where in most cases, when it comes to black businesses, all we try and do is bring each other down.
Yep.
Have you ever thought about that? These people, for the most part, were not here in our country well before blacks were here. But we just can't work together. We can't work together to get things done because, like you say, everybody wants a handout. They don't work for it, but they want a handout. That's why I say I'm not for monetary reparations when it comes to things like that, because we have just not had a very good track record in the business arena and things of that nature. And it, like you say, it is a sad commissary when we've got to go out and say our heroes when it comes to money are sports stars. And I will admit, we've got a warped sense of culture when the people making the most money are sports stars and the people who are putting their lives on the line every day are making less than anybody, and teachers are making less than anybody. And people talk about police reform and things of that nature. I will admit, just like we said earlier about people being human, there are bad policemen, there are bad cops, there are bad preachers, there are bad lawyers, there are bad people in all kind of professions and things. But, when we go out there and we kill our own folks, the first thing they talk about is, we need more police over here.
Yep.
They need to build a precinct over here. Well, these are the same people you're vilifying just a few weeks ago because of a bad situation. I understand there are times you need to do that. But what about, why can't we take care of, why are we killing our own people? They've been having these articles here about all these kids that have gotten killed just this year.
Mm-hmm.
Shootings. I mean, this one kid was 17, killed his 16-year-old girlfriend and himself. And I'm thinking, at 16 and 17, what could be so bad that you're going to kill your girlfriend and yourself? But we have our little candlelight vigil, we release some balloons, and then we go on about our business.
Yeah.
So
the next week.
Yeah. So it's frustrating when you see so much negativity in the life. But as the saying goes, that's life. And it goes back to what I said at the beginning. No one's perfect. Well, we hope you enjoyed this edition. Join us next time for Old Fools Talking Old School. Until then, this is Mickey G. Peace.